guys, it's Jess. So first video of the year, I thought I would do something that has been highly requested. I've been meaning to do this for basically all of 2012 and I never did it, so better late than never. The actual problem was that I lost the book that I put all the requests in. So I actually have been going through comments on old videos trying to get all old requests done, and this was definitely the most requested, and I'm sorry that it took so long. The people that requested it probably aren't even subscribed to me anymore because I took so long, but I'm going to do it anyway. So as you can see from the title, it is a Let's Talk for Peeta Mellark. I haven't done one of these in forever, so I can't even remember how I did them. I'm pretty sure I just compare book and movie. We'll just do that anyway. So, The Boy with the Bread. Let's begin. We'll talk about Josh first. So, you all know I absolutely love the casting they did for the entire Hunger Games film. I have no problem whatsoever with casting. I think every single person they cast acted their role brilliantly. That being said, I feel like they could have paid attention to smaller details better. This has nothing to do with Josh's acting, it was more so on appearance that could have easily been dealt with. So, as many of you complain about, Peeta did not have blue eyes, he had brown eyes. I don't really understand why they couldn't give him blue contacts, unless it was to do with allergies, sort of the situation that happened with Daniel Radcliffe, where they hired him but then learnt that he was allergic to the green contacts that he had to wear for Harry. I feel a little disappointed that there was no blue eyes, because in the books they're referenced to a lot, because Katniss always talks about his blue eyes. But you'll also notice in the film that Prim has brown eyes as well, so they didn't bother with the blue eyes for her either. And at first I was like, oh okay, so they're kind of switching it up. They've got Peeta and Prim blonde hair, brown eyes, and then they've got Katniss and Gale with the dark hair and blue eyes. But then Mrs. Everdeen had blue eyes, blonde hair, and it was just like, okay, they just don't care. And small details like that I can deal with because I still have the book, and I do like to keep them quite separate from each other, basically so my head does not explode. Appearances aside, Josh portrayed Peeta absolutely perfectly on screen, and I don't think they could have found a better actor to play Peeta. I think Josh has done a brilliant job. So we'll talk about the reaping first. The face that Josh pulls when he is reaped, and he kind of looks to the sides like that, like, motherfucker. And then there's the guy standing next to him. I think that's supposed to be one of his brothers because he really like looks away from him, and it's like, it's pretty funny because he's like, Katniss has just volunteered for Prim, and his brother's like, no. And then they get him off on stage, and I think Josh portrayed Peeta's fear of dying perfectly, and then when they're travelling in the car, having him cry was a really nice touch. The same goes for when they're in the train to, going to the capital, and he's talking to Haymitch. The scene where Peeta follows Haymitch out of the train cart so he can get Haymitch to help him and Katniss, I liked the book version better, but you know, he still was persuading Haymitch to actually help them instead of drinking the entire time. And that's the first you kind of see of Peeta's manipulation skills, I guess you could say. The way he can talk people into or out of different situations, like that. One part I didn't really enjoy with the chariot, what was it called? The tribute parade, was that they changed it to the hand holding being Peeta's idea, and I guess it was to show that Peeta likes to work out the ways that the Capital's minds tick, and they'll like that they're holding hands, a sort of union between the two tributes. But I feel like that should have stayed with Cinna, because that was Cinna's idea. He would know that they would like that because he lives in the capital, not so much Peeta. Like, why would he know? He's lived in District 12 his whole life. I feel like that was a bit weird. His interview was great. Josh did that perfectly. And it wasn't just through him talking about Katniss, it was his facial expressions as well. Really beautifully acted, and then when Katniss kind of like F's him up and smashes him against the wall, he did a I just shut myself face perfectly in that scene. That was beautiful. Now let's skip ahead to the arena. I thought, and you guys know this if you've been watching my channel for a while, I thought they would have different... I thought they'd use this opportunity to not just show Katniss's point of view, but also Peeta's and the careers as well. That didn't happen. I was looking forward to seeing more of Peeta's time in the arena, the fight between Cato and Peeta. Peeta camouflaging himself to survive, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers, and one can dream. So yeah, there wasn't really much of Peeta in the arena because they cut it short as well for the film. Peeta's time with the careers in the film, you could see he was reluctant, so they did that quite well. They did the camouflage brilliantly. I absolutely love that, and that's why I would have liked to see him actually working himself into that situation. When you do watch the behind the scenes, you do see and get to know how some of that happened. And it would have been difficult to shoot because they did have, like, wedge him between two rocks, and he was extremely uncomfortable for the entire take. But, like, props to Josh for doing that. Like, shit, I wouldn't do it. I'd get my ass stuck for sure between two rocks. And his injuries were definitely not as bad in the film that they were in the book. Like, he was, like, this isn't really even talking about Peeta. I'm just, like, ripping into Gary Ross. But they got such a good actor for the role, and they really didn't have him do much, and I was so upset about that. So yeah, with the injuries, I feel like, I guess some sort of amazing medication from the Capitol could make him heal that quickly, but it was kind of like, oh cool, like, we're fixed now, let's go save our asses. It was sort of like instant, like, oh, I'm all better now, like, I won't have to have my leg chopped off. Was anyone else really upset that he didn't have his leg amputated? It kind of makes me feel like they also won't have Chaff's arm amputated in Catching Fire. It lessened the impact of the arena on Peeta's life for me, because he came out of the arena and his leg was chopped off and replaced with a prosthetic, and now he has to live the rest of his life with a fucking prosthetic leg, and none of that is in the film. And oh, it would have been so easy to do now with CGI and everything. Oh, whatever. I think the fight scene between Peeta, Katniss and Cato was acted quite well. They could have stopped with the shaky cam, but you know how I feel about that. Let's not open old wounds, but stop shaking the camera. Now, my favourite scene of Josh acting as Peeta, I don't know if it goes unnoticed, but I haven't noticed many people talking about it, but it's the scene when they go home on the train and Katniss kind of hints that she doesn't actually love him, and you can just see the heartbreak, not even just on his face, in his eyes. It's like, it's stabbed to the heart. Like, oh, it's pretty gut-wrenching. And it's like when he sees Katniss looking at Gale and Pram and he just realizes, like, fuck. I think it's a beautifully acted scene by Josh. It really actually showed that Josh does love Jen. That Peeta does really have these beautiful feelings for Katniss, and Katniss has no fucking clue. And that wasn't coming across in the film. My sister actually saw the film before she read the books, and she was like, oh, I had no idea that Katniss didn't actually like him until that scene where they were going home. All in all, I absolutely love Josh as Peeta. Could have given him blue eyes. That's not his fault. Maybe could have made the hair a little bit more blonder as well. Doesn't matter. He has brown hair. I can't even imagine trying to get my hair blonde. Ooh, one more thing. Why did they make that Peeta giving the bread to Katniss in the rain scene make it look like a week before the reaping? They should have got younger actors. Josh has a younger brother that looks exactly like him. Meh. Anyway, I hope this video is enjoyed by someone. It probably wasn't, because I just ranted and raved and made myself angry again, which is basically what I do in every video. Hope you guys had an amazing new year, and I will see you all soon. Happy Hunger Games. I'm going to be looking for this entire video. Okay. No, we're not going to say it like that. I'm going to sound like a fucking knob. Hey guys, it's Jess. Happy New Year, everyone. Oh, I sound like a dickhead. Why does she keep moving? I haven't done one of the... Oh, fuck. Brown eyes. Oh, I don't know if anyone besides Australians will get brown eye. I don't know. If you don't live in Australia and you know what a brown eye is... What is that called? Let's think of it before you make a fool of yourself, Jess. Fuck. The scene where he follows Haymitch out of the... Oh, fuck! I lost it. Dick. What I didn't enjoy for... Oh, fuck. Now let's... Oh, no. I'm fucking itchy.